Okay, we're going to bring the meeting to order. This is a joint meeting for Selectmen and the Advisory Budget Committee.
Dean's in there already.
And the Sustainability Committee.
I think it's the same.
And
It's not written so much.
they're in the other.
I know they're meeting tonight. Lake the River. I think they're
Oh, they're
downstairs.
downstairs. Well, do we want to do
Thank you.
the MS1 535? We'll wait for Linda.
And did he,
Since we have a board of select meeting?
he said, I think he
You
said
want,
that
yeah, we can.
Well, we're waiting for her. She's
Everybody was
first
on
on
it.
this.
Okay, so-
we
so
decided
he
to-
wasn't, he might not even be able to, log his own.
Yeah, they're right there.
Okay, so is he gonna, he was saying something in there, like he didn't even know if you,
Right.
like, you have his
Right.
stuff and look
He
it over.
indicated that they weren't going to
Okay,
go
so-
from there.
Okay, Tom Administrator.
Can we do
Down
the
at
MS1.
535?
Oh, sure. Okay.
If you would mind passing that to the select board? And this just has the cover memo on it. So the second page is the signature page. No signing? Okay.
Tom, you want to tell us anything? Do you want to speak?
Relative to the MS1 and the MS 535?
Yep.
I wasn't going to.
You've seen it?
That's it.
They're just, as you may recall, documents that we need to get to DRA so that we can get into the tax rate setting queue.
Yes. I'm good with it.
Thank you.
I move to approve the MS1 and MS 535.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Approved.
It's signed.
You gotta sign it, something.
Oh, you have signed
Is
it?
it-
Oh,
To
we all
sign
have to
it?
sign it. We all have to sign it.
Okay. All right, I will turn the meeting over to Mr. Murdoch.
All right, we have the town clerk, tax collector first.
Here.
And there she is.
The chair, fortunately, like a bullet.
Do you want to go line by line, or just an overall, this is it?
Is it under administration? Is that what
It's under TCTC.
you're- Oh, TCTC, yeah. Thank you. Tax collector.
For my purposes, just go through the ones that have changes.
Let's see. Do you want to do elections? I do
Yes.
elections too. Okay, so in the elections, supervisor checklist, I reduced it by 200 because in 2018, it was a lot lower, so I'm just kind of a guess. Town meeting expenses, 2018 was $290, so I lowered it 100. And those are the two changes there, so it reduced it by $300 from 19 to 20. And then on the town clerk, let's see, the deputy, I was requesting a dollar increase, so I think, when Julie and I talked about this, I think the 19 was computed on 28 hours, because this is, so So it should reflect, it's reflecting a dollar increase. I wanted to give her a dollar increase in 2020. So that was the increase there. Software continues to go up, so I approximated another $400 increase. May not be that high, but conference travel, obviously in 18 it was not 250, so I lowered it to 150. Office supplies are probably more realistically, because let's see, in 18 they were $3,000. That's a little more realistic, so I had increased that to $600. So the net difference, which is an increase of about a little under $1,200.
And the personnel's the same, right?
Yes, deputy and town clerk. No additions, and I'm praying no deletions. No, actually, she's doing great. Any questions?
I'm all set.
I do. Well, I think I may have mentioned this last year, and it's a revenue question, but it would involve your office, so I'll just bring it up because it's a possibility that the town could, under RSA 261-153, charge an additional $5 for motor vehicle registrations and establish a fund that would go towards highway and road and transportation improvements. Based on figures that you provided for the town report for 2017, I estimated that it might get us another $25,000 a year. Just throwing it out there, you've seen the budget increase, it's just another revenue source. Some towns use it, I think most don't, but I just wanted to bring it up. I didn't know whether you were aware of it or what impact.
Well,
if
now
any.
as you mentioned, yeah, because usually on registrations that come from other, it's more cities, I seem to see it. It says it's actually is classified transportation, I think. So yeah, no, I see it more in cities than towns, but it is there. And actually, in that same light, municipal agent fee right now is, we charge $2.50, but a few years ago, I'm not sure when it was up to $3. So if the town decided that they wanted to charge $3 instead of $2.50 in relation, if you go to the DMV, you get your decals. If you lost a decal, you go get the decals for $1. If you do it at the any town clerk, well, our town clerk's office, we get paid what's a municipal agent fee, which is $2.50. So every state transaction that we do, we get $2.50, and I'd say probably 92 to 95% of the time when people register or do things with their vehicles, they do everything in the office. So you could decide to change that from $2.50 to $3.
Is this something that comes from your office as a request to be approved by the Board of Selectmen?
It probably, when she mentioned that, it made me think of it. I would, let me check, but yes, I'm sure that the selectmen, I mean, I don't arbitrarily do that. Let me double check and I will email you.
I appreciate that.
If you're,
If email it to somebody who would send it out there, please.
Mhm.
Okay.
A lot of towns do charge $3.
And could you send us the RSA as well, Julie? From the $5 change?
Yep.
Okay.
And I'll do the 50-cent increase too.
Thank you.
Does that appear under 3220?
Which
Those
one?
fees? Those fees?
The one I talked about is,
No, the one that she's talking about.
oh, that I don't know.
The $2.50, where does that appear under 3220?
What's it?
Oh, you mean what DRA line?
Yeah,
Yeah.
It would be under motor vehicle permit.
okay, that's
fees.
3220.
Yeah. I mean, it might be another $3,000 a year.
Mhm.
Yeah, because, yeah, That would be what, 600 vehicle transactions?
6,000,
6,000
because
transactions.
it's only a 50-cent difference.
Right,
Mhm.
right. Yeah, it wouldn't be a huge, I can, okay, I'll let you know how much they increase. If it was increased over the past 5 years, I can tell you what, I can show you the comparison.
And Julie, this one that you're talking about, is this something new, or has this been in place for a long time?
No, I think it's been in place for a while.
You brought it up last year.
Yeah, I brought it up last year. It's just another revenue stream.
Okay.
Yeah, and like I said, I see it more for
Yeah.
cities, and I assumed that that was because they have more transportation issue, or, more roads and that sort of thing, but that may be just a generic, not, well,
I'm wondering, and this is, city councils can make those decisions without going to the voters because they've been elected to do that. It may be a transaction because it has to go to the voters. That may be the reason why towns don't do it and cities do it. It's easier to implement in the city, I'm just guessing.
You're right. If we were going to do the $5, it would have to be a warrant article.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
I'll check on the 50 cent, I'm not sure.
Okay.
I'm good, Tom.
All set? Thank you.
You know where I am, you don't have to question.
Yeah.
I know where you
Come
are.
find you.
You know where I live, where I'm going to live too, so. Okay.
The agricultural commission.
I didn't have anything to send to you, other than a request. The board decided to ask for at least a placeholder of $1,000, which we have essentially asked for the last few years, although 2 years ago we didn't ask for anything. Right now, our budget, or what we have for balance is, I think this is pretty correct, according to Joanne. As of today, 33.11 in the Ag Commission balance, and then the farmer's market is lumped into that too, and the balance for that is 21.14.82, which gives a total of 61.76.12 in our pot. We've sort of been staying in that range for quite a number of years. One of the things that we've had in the works for about 10 years now, depending on what happens with the town center, is some sort of an informational kiosk with all the commissions and committees. So we want to set some money aside for that. We also do the backyard farming initiative series at the Grange in January through March, which is a considerable amount of money. We have to pay the Grange, I think, $500 plus. We've been videotaping and putting in CDs, the sessions, which are available at the library. And these have been in conjunction with the library and the Sustainability Committee. So we don't want to get too far down without having a little bit of a cushion. This year, the fair barbecue was more successful than in the past. We had total income of 31. Excuse me. Total income was $31.50, which is about $700 more than what has been averaging. We just had more people, but we also had more expenses. So we only made $591 on the whole barbecue. We've been averaging around 900 the last few years. So I guess I would ask for the placeholder at least for the $1,000 unless something comes up where we think we don't need it. But if you're happy to answer any questions.
That cost for the backyard initiative, is that a total cost of $500? Or just
Just
$500?
to the Grange, just to use the Grange.
Because Paul said in his thing that he has in his budget request for sustainability, $500 for the rental cost of the Grange for 5 sessions.
So then they must have voted, unbeknownst to me, they must have voted to pay for the Grange out of their budget.
So So I was
Last
just
year.
wondering if it was 1,000 and you guys paid half and they paid half?
No, we paid, see if I can find it here. We didn't have it in here, so I guess they must have taken a charge.
So they've got that? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
But we do have to pay for the videos. The videos last year were $1,200.
Yep.
And I'll pass this around if anyone wants to look at it. That's the breakdown for the last few months. Any questions? Anybody go to the barbecue this year?
Yeah.
Yes.
Live? Wow.
It's still
Good.
I didn't get any beans though.
We ran
I
out
was
of,
just gonna say, no, I didn't get to eat this year.
Yeah.
I didn't get to eat this year.
You didn't get to eat?
I was there, but I
she
didn't.
was busy taking tickets, so she wasn't, we did run out of some food.
Well, you ran out, I was gonna say, you ran out of beans and
Yeah,
so.
we ran out of beans, we had we sold all of the chicken that was available. We had a little bit of pork left, and we ran out of some of the salads. It was quite successful, I would say. It was pretty close, figuring wise.
Yeah, I was the first one to be denied. I got there and she was putting the
There
thing on
was
the
6 people that didn't get beans, believe it or not.
6.
6.
I'm in that small group.
You should have quickly got a cold can, just cut it open, you know?
That's not the same.
That's why you
We
get
made,
Too many
14 pounds of dry beans, which is
You
2
had
big pots like this.
Okay.
So
Well, I think everybody had a good time.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
well.
so,
And Scott mentioned that something about, I don't know if you saw the trailer, that I bought a trailer to put all the cooking stuff in because I ran out of room in my garage and I was giving an edict. If I didn't get the stuff out of the garage, I was in big trouble. So on the side, somebody, Pat's laughing because you know. Somebody put in masking tape on the side of the trailer, ER Catering, and it was supposed to be Eric's Catering, but they ran out of tape, so Scott thought it was Eric's Catering. I said, no, that's not what it meant. And he said, well, what does it mean? And I said, well, where do you go if you get food poisoning?
emergency room.
the ER.
Oh, geez.
So, any questions?
I'm good. I'm good.
Everybody's all set?
So I have a question. How much of an increase do you folks see this year?
Don't ask questions, the answers to which you don't want to know.
You can ask the town administrator where she says it is at this point.
Yeah.
Right now, the overall increase is 8.93%.
Did you see what Durham is expecting, a 25% increase in
What?
budget? Because their
Whoa.
income is way down and their expenses are way up. It was on the Durham the Friday newsletter or whatever it was a couple weeks ago. I about fell out of the chair when I saw that.
Oh, they're getting attention.
And they'll get a lot of people's attention.
Maybe that's why he's not pushing the middle school this year, is it?
No, they're not ready.
Oh, okay.
I thought I had a picture of Eric's carrying, but it's at home. It's not at home.
So, what was the last question? Is that on every, was that $5 on every registration or just?
It's not antique vehicles.
But everything else?
What about agriculture?
I mean, in agriculture, only $5 to start with, so.
What page we have here? Last year they didn't ask for anything.
I think the only thing that's left off of it is
Ag?
antique vehicles.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Yeah, 0,
Yeah, it was, okay, this was last year, you didn't ask for anything last year, right?
Yes. they
Yes,
do.
It was $1,000 last year, but
So
the
we
year
don't have anything
before,
this
it was
year.
nothing?
Well, it only goes up to
The
2018.
year before, they didn't ask for
Right.
anything.
This is 20,
Right, We're in
20.
2019.
I know, and I'm looking at 2018.
Because we don't have
They didn't
20.
that
ask.
was the year before that ended last year.
Right.
If you
Yeah, there's
look at the
nothing.
sheet that looks like the
Ah.
spreadsheet, you'll see it.
Okay, that one.
Yeah.
I was confused, sorry, with that, because I thought it was one of those years. where
One of the years
beginning,
you didn't ask
Not
for
the
something.
ending.
Yeah,
So it would have been 26 17,
18, you didn't have to.
2018.
Right.
so that was 2017 though.
Okay,
20.
so this, we're actually working on,
2017 to 18, you didn't ask.
Yeah.
Right.
okay.
But look, this year, the current year, we're in 1,000.
Eric, this may be a question for Julie, but I'm gonna ask it at this point. You guys rent the Grange, I think most everybody knows the Grange is not insured at all, because they don't have the money to pay for National Grange insurance.
Well, they don't have fire insurance.
Well, I was under the impression they didn't have any insurance.
No,
They
they
got
don't have fire
liability.
insurance. What?
They do have liability.
Yeah, as far as I know, they do. They have to operate.
I would think that would.
But they couldn't get fire insurance only because if you're familiar with the inside of the Grange, the long stovepipe that's about 50 feet long, that goes for 6 inches from the ceiling. Insurance company wasn't very fond of that.
Did it ever get cleaned?
Yeah.
It doesn't, that must be a
If you
long
went there at
ride.
10 o'clock in the morning on a cold day, you make sure it's clean because it's red hot about 3 hours away.
You burn it out, huh?
It gets burned out.
Okay.
The problem is because of what happened at the last fair that was up there. And I don't know if you're familiar with it or not, but just to refresh everybody's memory, the Grange, the church, and the Firemen's Association used to sponsor the fair for 50 years. The last year it was at the Grange, everybody was getting old, so they had those old booths with the metal roofs on them, and we had to set them up and take them down, and there was problems with the fire department personnel not wanting as much, or the edict from the chief at that time was not to do much. And anyway, make a long story short, somebody made the suggestion of getting some of the work release prisoners from Stratford County Jail to come over. So everybody thought that was a good idea, you know, we'd feed them Sunday morning for cleanup. I think 11 people showed up, and one of the guys had a tracking bracelet, ankle bracelet on. And it was just, his mouth was going the whole time, you could tell he was a problem child. And he was, because Jimmy Brady had the trailer there that they used to use for the karaoke, the stage. And he went to back up to hitch it to his truck. And the guy says, I'll hitch you up. And of course, he's going like this and going like that. And he gets back there and he's swearing the whole time. And Jimmy was off like 2 inches, so the guy cranks on the trailer to pull it over. Well, Jack was sitting on a block of wood, fell off. The Jack hit his ankle bracelet, broke his ankle. And they all have to sign a work release, liability release, to come over here. They couldn't find his. He sued the fair, he sued the county commissioners, he sued the jail, he sued Jimmy and Betty Brady. They thought they were gonna lose the farm. And he got, I guess, as far as I can tell, more than $100,000 out of the whole deal. And everybody said, that's it. So the problem after that was that they found that they could no longer get, or it wasn't worth them getting fire insurance because they had to change carriers because the carrier dropped them. So that's all I know about it, but I'm sure they have liability insurance, slip and fall liability insurance. Because the beekeepers use it all the time, the Ag Commission uses it, town uses it for various things. And the Grange uses it, so, and there are other things that go on there, so they do have to have insurance. But we have to provide them with a certificate when we do something over there.
Okay, so we provide them with a certificate in our
Because-
insurance.
But that's
It's a
just
town
liability
sponsor.
coverage, that's
Right,
not
it's just-
property coverage.
Right, it's just liability. And they've just figured it's not worth the cost of, you know, if the place burns, it's gonna burn. There's no stopping it. It's new construction and poof. So, that's all I know, Brian.
I've always liked a controlled burn, you know?
Well, that would be uncontrolled burn, because with that metal roof on there, it'd get pretty darn hot underneath.
Yeah, I guess so.
Just go right up.
My concern is always if something happens and there's no coverage by the primary, they'll look around for someone else. And if we're using the stoves and they try to say that we were in it and we were using the building when it broke down, what's our liability? I don't know the answer to that.
again, we don't provide property coverage,
So,
so I don't know what would happen if they tried to say, we knocked the stove over and that's what caused the fire. I don't know.
I probably shouldn't tell you this story, but.
I'm gonna tell you anyways.
The stove in the kitchen in there, the kitchen was that wasn't part of the original building, that was an addition on there, but the stove that's in there is a gas stove, and there's a griddle on one side, so when we do I say we, the Ag Commission, Durham Ag Commission, and Stratford County Farm Bureau put on the pancake breakfast in March, it's a fundraiser. So a couple of years ago, we went into, and we have to cook outside. We now have accumulated a lot of cooking stuff in ER County. So we had to cook outside. And so we did some of the cooking on the griddle that's on the main stove. And so Jimmy Brady and I were getting ready to light it up in the morning. And I said, did you check underneath this thing, make sure there isn't a mouse nest underneath there? Yeah, I checked it about a week ago. I lifted it up and there was this mouse nest like this big. Can you imagine what that would have smelled like if we lived in it?
And mice in it. That
So,
would really smell.
instances like that, we just kind of have to.
Go with the flow.
One of the things we did do, the commission voted to give some extra money to the Grange because the day we were doing the cooking, the Thursday before the fair, the hot water heater died, went out. And it's a gas hot water heater, so they had to get a new one, and that was $1,100 or something dollars to put that in, so we figured we'd do a little bit of extra to help pay for that. But technically, it's in pretty good shape over there. It's just a matter of, I guess, when, more than anything else. Not gonna last forever.
Who owns the Grange? Because it,
The state, well, the Grange itself is owned by the Jeremiah Smith. I don't know what number it is now. But if this Grange dissolves, and it's that far from happening because as Scott Emmett said, to back up a little bit, one of the other things that we spent $760 on AED to put in the Grange from the Ag Commission out of the money from the fair barbecue, because Chief Nemeth said, well, you probably ought to put one over there, and where Lee is a healthy town, he thought it would be a good idea to put it over there, because, you know, it's just a bunch of old people over there. I'm still reeling from that. It was pretty harsh. But anyway, we just put that in last week. Now I don't know what my point was. Oh, but the ownership of the Grange, because there's a lot of old people over there and not a lot of new recruits coming in, younger recruits coming in. The core group is getting smaller and smaller, and of course, they're getting older and older and don't want to do much. But if they disband, that building goes back to the state, Grange, which is a problem because 7 or 8 years ago, I guess now, the Ag Commission was concerned with what's going to happen to that building as a cultural resource in the town of Lake if the Grange disbands. And I would like, I'll throw it out to you, to at least in the back of everybody's mind in this whole town center thing, think of how that Grange might be utilized in the whole requirements and needs for town, meeting spaces and everything else, if there's something that down the road we might want to look at. I don't
is
know
it something we can buy? Is that why?
Well, we'd have to buy it from the state. We did look into, I don't know, at least 7 or 8 years ago. Pat, you've been here a long time, maybe you remember. But we did look into that and found out that we can't buy it directly from the Jeremiah Smith Grange. It would have to come from the state, and I don't know
What that
involved that
connection
would
is.
be.
You could tax it though, and have them not pay the taxes and then take it in 3 years for a tax deed.
That's interesting.
You
Well,
could
they don't-
tax it because they do rent it out. They're not,
But they don't-
they're tax exempt unless they rent it out, and they do rent it out. So if the town taxed
I
it,
think years ago though, and I'm not sure of the sales, but didn't they give them a waiver years
Who?
ago?
The Board of
Grange.
Selectmen?
Grange, yes, I think the board may, because the board's the ultimate assessors. I almost think that was. way
They've
back-
always been exempt.
Blanket waiver.
What?
They don't get waivers.
I don't, yeah,
That-
I'm
that-
not sure
It's
what.
it's always been treated as exempt, but if it were taxed, it used to be that it was a taxable item, but the town never taxed it. And then the statute changed and it became tax exempt, as long as they weren't trying to make money off it by renting it out. But they do rent it out. I mean, I have no problem with them renting it out, but the point is that makes it taxable under the law. And if the town taxed it and they didn't pay the taxes, in 3 years, the town could take it for a tax deed. But then you gotta think about, the liability issues involved in that.
Yeah.
And the PR issue.
And the
Yeah.
PR issues.
It is a thought.
It is a-
I guess
Interesting.
Otherwise, you'd have to say what the value of it is, and if it was.
the value of it isn't great, other than.
Historic,
land is
though it
there.
has a historic value that's really, you
That
can't.
building,
There
that
has to be
building needs a
some
lot of
value
work.
put on it to be able to buy it from the state, so you'd have to figure that out.
Right. I will tell you that condition-wise, if you, some of you are old enough to remember, they used to have contra dances in there, Brian, do you remember those? Contra dances? But
We
the
used to do
floor
that at the
started,
fair.
the floor started, I think it was before you were born, Tom.
Yeah, probably.
Did you notice he looked at me?
66.
Right, you remember?
And I
That suddenly.
I remember doing that at the fair, though, growing up, at the
Well,
Lee Fair, we
But
used to
that
do
was
that.
outside, wasn't it?
Right, yeah,
that
it
was
was.
outside. So they used to have them, back in the mid-eighties, I guess, they used to have them inside on, I don't know, Friday or Saturday nights, and they drew quite a crowd, but the problem was that the floor started to, because everybody was bouncing, the floor started to get a little weak. So what would have to happen would be that building would need to be jacked up and supported underneath. Now, it's like the town hall. Same thing.
Well, it used to be a church before it was the Grange, so.
Was it church?
It has history.
Yeah.
What would the state do with it? State Grange do with it?
Sell it.
They'd sell it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it would have to be a willing buyer, willing seller, appraisal, who
It's right
knows?
there in our town.
Well, it comes from, is it like a half an acre? It's not very big.
It's not very big, because,
I'm not sure Scott is half acre there.
It's not very big, I know that.
well,
For a long
it
time,
extends down, it extends down to the old road.
Is it all the fairgrounds,
No.
where it used to be?
No.
Oh, no, it's not.
Part of the fairground, but I think the riding ring is actually at Bannister's, I'm not sure. Because Ed's land goes right behind it, and I'm not sure whether it includes the riding ring or not, but that always has been something that they had an agreement with, that you could use it for the fair. So I'm not sure where the property line is.
The problem is it's a liability. I mean, if the town were gonna take it or buy it, they'd have to put a lot of money into it just to make it safe, would they not?
No, not to make it safe. I mean, it's
Oh, I
safe
think so.
now, but. who
Well, you
knows-
could have- you'd
who
have to have
knows
a
what the
different-
town's insurance
You'd
company-
have to have a different heating
Insurance
system.
issue.
Yeah.
What is that for heating system, just a wood
Two wood stoves.
Yeah.
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 So that would need to be changed.
So the problem is that unless it was a nonprofit that bought it, that the problem would be, again, the insurance. And I'm sure.
Did they ever
the town
drill a
insurance-
well
It's
there?
a nonprofit buys it.
Pardon?
Did they ever drill a well?
There is a well there,
Because for a long time, there was a point.
yeah, well, I say a well, but I think it's a shallow point, but it is potable water. So, I'm not really sure where it is, whether it's under the stairs, it go down in the cellar, or outside.
It's back to its banisters, and I think it's pretty close to the banisters last time.
Yeah,
It was long. We used to do it for the fair, and we also did some dinner theaters over there.
right.
We occasionally run out of water, you get sand coming out of the faucet, but there's a point you can keep up.
So shallow.
Is this when you moved down to the Cow Palace, or was this?
Oh, no, this was after the Cow Palace.
That's a whole other story.
Nobody here knows about the Cow Palace except you and I.
I'm getting an
Wait a
education.
minute, I know about it, Brian.
You know about the Cow Palace,
Yes.
don't you? Yeah.
I know about the Cow Palace too.
I triple.
I've heard about you, your ex-wife, your wife, Christine, previous wife, your wife.
Yeah,
Yes, I've heard about her dancing act.
The cow palace?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, no pictures yet, I'm working on that.
Oh, he's working on it.
We're still looking for pictures of Mel Jenkins dressed up in his,
I don't have him, no, I don't I have pictures of Pat Jenkins singing. There's a whole bunch of pictures, but that's the only one that I have. But no, none of Mel singing about his ding-a-ling.
I might have some, but if I ever get my act together, digitize the slides. I got my act
well,
together.
the Heritage Commission is looking for some, I think, so.
Yeah.
Great.
I'm good.
Anybody else? Oh, all set. Thanks, Eric.
Thank you.
Thanks for all you do, a lot of work.
You too.
Energy committee,
Energy committee.
nobody, and then
Energy.
sustainability's in there.
No, I mean, I
We don't
put
have any.
$1,500 in,
For energy,
for energy.
did they use any this year?
The only
last year?
money that was used from fiscal 18 was the 5,000 that we put towards the swap shop.
Yep.
They had another 4,400 that they never spent. And I don't believe they spent any this year.
Sustainability is not asking for that.
Yeah, that they are.
Yes, sustainability is asking for 1,000.
And that's why I asked under C, under favors, asking for $500 for the rental of the building. But
So is it the same 500 that Eric's
Well-
talking about?
I think Eric said that they're not paying the 500, they're paying for the video part of it, so maybe that's how they split it. I don't know. I was just seeing if it was a double counting.
Where you see the request for the house?
Here he
It's
says
actually,
500 for the
it's
rental
in
cost.
government buildings.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Oh, energy's in government buildings?
The sustainability.
Sustainability.
And
Yeah, energy and sustainability show up in government buildings.
Isn't that $500 the same? That on here, Paul says it's for the rental cost for the Grange, and Eric said he's got 500 for it.
Well, I mean, Eric's just asking for $1,000
Just general.
in general without being particularly assigned to anything, so.
Well, we can leave it as it is, because I think there's other larger things to cut then.
Yeah, that's pretty small stuff. Sustainability, oh, there's a closet.
What did energy ask for?
They didn't ask for anything.
They didn't ask for anything?
No, so I just
You
put
just put
$1,500 in.
Oh, that's, you put the 1,500 in for energy.
You guys are still meeting, right?
Yes.
Energy?
Yeah, I didn't get to the meeting.
Oh, what, they meet monthly?
Well, I have to check and see. They've been moving it around, so it's been very difficult.
They were gonna do a lighting project, weren't they?
Yes, the LED project.
Did they, what's the status of that?
The select board voted, not last night, but at a previous meeting, to move forward with the bid process. I met with the low bid vendor today to go over some things, talk about some concerns that various people had raised. So he's gonna go back and look at his numbers. I need to talk with the chiefs about the exterior lighting, specifically the wall packs around the building. So what are they hoping to accomplish? Do they just want to light the wall, so light the side of the building? Or do they need that light to be cast out across the asphalt? Because obviously that's gonna make a difference in the fixture.
Talking about the front ones or,
Well, more along the side.
oh, the side? I was gonna say, because the front ones, they have that meeting point, so they probably wanna light that up a little bit.
Meeting point?
The meeting point,
For
you know, they
people
have the
who,
signs.
yeah.
where
Oh,
they
oh,
put
oh,
the
yeah,
parents.
those are the pole
For
lights.
parents
Yeah.
Those are the
that are
pole lights,
divorced.
Yeah,
yep,
these are the ones attached to the building.
right, right.
Now, none of those costs are coming out of the energy committee's budget?
No,
It's coming out of the town building capital.
coming out of the
reserve fund.
capital
That's what I
reserve.
So when do you think we'd hear back from him?
relative to final costs. and
Updating, if he's gonna
final-
update the bid.
I actually didn't discuss timing of it, but
Okay.
he knows that timing is of the essence because we still want to try to get the rebate, or we have to get the rebate.
Right.
When do the rebates expire, Jim?
Well, I don't know that they have a date to them, is when the money runs out.
Oh, whoever gets there first.
Yeah.
First come, first served. So Angie, we're done. We can talk about whether we want to keep it the way it is or adjust it later, I guess.
Why don't we get a printout from the Agricultural Commission, like the balance sheet that he passed around?
You mean this, the money left behind?
Yeah.
Because he just didn't provide it to us.
You want a copy of it?
You can copy it and,
Well, I don't know, I kind of feel like we're in this kind of never land for information. You just get a bottle number and you don't have anything that you can.
You mean with Eric?
Oh, Julie, can you scan it and send it to us?
That would be good.
It's always been that way.
It's the
I
way he works.
understand, it's always been that way, I think maybe.
It's just when you're right. You're right.
Doesn't mean it's right.
have some concrete things that they would like the money for.
Yeah,
He named
well,
some,
at least
but
he
he
didn't get some idea of what they spend it on, so that we can have an idea of what kind of benefit that is to the town,
Yeah,
to the residents.
He talks about a lot of programming, and I wonder if it's Lee residents who attend this. He seems to get some pretty good interest. I don't know if it's,
the farmer's market.
the farmer's market's
and
certainly
the-
local, but I don't know if
And the
it's.
growing backyard.
The backyard initiatives.
Are
Initiative.
those,
Yeah.
do we have people in town that actually participate?
Yeah.
Yeah. Not just people from outside town can come too.
Right, but I meant, are there people that?
So sustainability, or did we just, are we gonna get them, or are they gonna?
Oh, they're right in there.
I know,
Well,
but that email he sent was like, I'm not gonna be able to make it because I'm gonna be in my meeting, and it's right there. So what do we do?
we ignore him and move on.
We do? Okay.
And patch him in
And
somewhere
then we
else.
just decide
No,
what we're gonna give them?
There's other spots.
What is he asking
I
for?
would, well, it's up to you.
You knock and,
He sent in that thing, if we have questions, we can ask you to come back
Yeah.
at some other time.
That's right.
yeah. So what,
They just want $1,000.
Yeah.
he's asking for $1,000. Is this not even it? Yes. Okay.
I do have some more updates to pass around unless, well.
Yeah.
Book back.
Where's your, you gave us one of these.
I haven't done it, I'm gonna get to take all
Yeah,
the
this
stuff out.
changed because the transfer station changed.
Plus I'm glad I didn't, because if she keeps setting up these things,
Oh, the police one. Right.
So we remember these.
and you all got the
These are all new.
information. You all got the information I forwarded from the chief when I asked about calls. You all saw that?
So this is another one.
Yeah, that,
Sent that out this afternoon.
didn't you sent that around?
We revised.
Is this the-
Yeah, that's that one right there, I guess.
No, this is police.
Oh, okay, so here's kind of the revised.
Transfer station.
Police budget.
Police,
I think. Is there more?
Apparently.
Three, right? Three coming through? Transfer
This is
station,
for-
police department, and whatever you saw. No, Sharon's.
Transfer station?
This must be police, because it says chief, right?
It says police under description. Police hyphen
So these
supersede what was there.
These 2 pages go in the, are these already reflected in the one that you got tonight?
The master sheet.
The master,
Yes,
yes,
So
these pages are already reflected in the master.
correct.
Changes.
the transfer station one reflects after the conversation we had with him and so on.
Right. that he wants to change a part-time position to a full-time position.
Okay. At the,
This
police,
So what
No,
changed?
why not?
Do that too.
oh, the transfer station wanted to do
I
that
think
too?
these pages
Okay.
are already in the master plan.
Okay.
Right, but what changed more on
Which one are you looking at?
the police?
He just made some minor changes to the Stratford County dispatch line and lease agreements and contracts.
Okay.
So take the training out of it, out of the training, right?
We haven't seen the transfer station.
Yeah.
You mean met with
We haven't met with them.
correct.
So, Julie, you've got underneath, it says FY '20 department head request, then it says delta. What's that delta of?
The difference between the 20 request and the fiscal 19 adopted.
That's incorrect then.
What is-
Adopted is 38,000 and request is 73,000.
Which one are you looking at?
The transfer station full-time wages, the delta is not $1,000.
No, it's like,
What?
So
Okay,
maybe if we can,
Yes.
yep.
that's, because I'm thinking he wants a new full-time person, it's only gonna cost us $1,000. Woo,
we'll get
sign me
that.
up.
Do it! He's working for cheap.
Yeah, I don't know why, because that's a formula.
That's
That's
not
one is wrong.
working.
Mm.
That's weird. Okay.
So these are not coming from the accounting system, they're coming from a spreadsheet?
Well, I input the changes into Tyler,
Yep.
and then it gets converted to an Excel spreadsheet, and then you can manipulate the Excel spreadsheet.
So the delta is a calculated field that you're doing after the fact?
Well, Tyler will do it, but in order to get it into a format that's readable,
Mm-hmm.
we manipulate it in Excel.
Okay.
Julie, the third delta looks,
Third delta is.
Well, you're right, the transfer station deltas look weird.
Yeah,
So-
they do.
I'll have to look at that when I'm at my computer.
Good. Thanks.
But that's the only one that's word. With a quick perusal.
This is why.
Well, the delta is like $30,000 of
Yeah,
social and
that's,
so.
the second line down there.
so from an operational perspective, he's asking to take his part-time person and make him full-time?
He has two regular
Oh, the
part-time
third one
people.
down, too.
So he's looking to make one of the regular part-time people a full-time
Third
position.
one down, too.
Oh, yeah, here, this one you're
So
right.
there's a bunch of changes to your numbers too resulting from this.
Yes.
No, he's taking one of the part-time people away. So instead of having two part-times, it's only one, so it's should be a negative. I don't know. Right, the third
You're
one.
right, the delta numbers for the transfer station
Yeah,
that I
those
handed
are-
out tonight need to be redone.
Shall I look at the police? Look at her.
Again,
Let's see.
Because he handed out a new, I'm just curious.
that looks
That looks.
okay.
Okay, just checking.
Okay, this
Okay.
worksheet here is,
Looks all right.
That's the insurance is the thing, right? People's insurances.
this is everybody that works for the town, or is it
Yeah.
just?
The full-time,
Yeah, full-time workers.
So you carried in the personnel line item, this full-time person in transfer station as a family plan, right? So
Correct.
it's 24,000.
correct.
So the salary differential is 35 plus 24. So it cost us,
Well, I did that last time we met, so let me
okay.
look.
I'm just trying to calculate how much from taking this person from part-time to full-time does it cost us?
Well, I did that, I handed out that quick spreadsheet last time.
Oh,
The
And
difference would
so
be
it's about $29,000
extra.
extra, not counting the wages.
Oh,
The wages end up being about $16,000.
okay.
So you're 44,000?
Throw it together.
244.
Oh, 16,000 increase in wage.
So the conversation is, I think he's asking for it, I don't want to say what he's gonna say next week, but he's having a hard time finding part-time people to cover.
Yes. Mhm.
So I think that's part of his desire to have a full-time person, so he can count on somebody. Because you're more likely to get somebody to come work for you if you give them benefits than if you just pay an hourly wage.
Well, I think that it's a good conversation we just had. I mean, I think we made a comment yesterday after talking to him that he kind of needs a stronger number two there or something to help him through some of this stuff.
I guess we're good.
We're still in-
Chairperson.
We're still in the budget.
Mr. Chairperson, I will not be here next week.
Will not be here.
I will not be here next week either, Mr.
You
Chairperson. No.
Where are you going?
I have a personal life, you know.
Oh, come on, come on.
When did it start? Come on, you can tell us.
I have another commitment.
Okay.
I will be here,
It's just a
but don't
different-
count on me the week after that.
We don't have a meeting a week after, John, you're.
We don't?
All right.
No, you get Thanksgiving week off.
Oh, I thought we talked.
Motion to adjourn the
You
budget
get
committee.
Thanksgiving week off.
There it is, that's a
23rd.
Oh, sorry.
Forget. We just don't mean.
I won't be here on the 30th.
Oh, that's true.
It's Halloween. I
Take
can't
Your
go
pen
far.
back, Julie?
All right, what day is that?
Please don't say it's.
It's on the 30th.
Are we here on the 30th supposed to be?
Then you can give it to me the next time. I forget. Thank you.
That's what I'm saying.
Well, that's from 5 to 7. The meeting's not till 7, so you can go do that the first part and then
Oh, okay, okay, I can do that.
hand out your little kits.
Because the police designated October 30th as Halloween. Not the 31st.
So, we're back under the select board.
If the ABC adjourned.
Oh.
Yeah, adjourned.
Well, I said,
So,
Motion to
I'd
adjourn.
like to enter a motion to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye,
Adjourn.
Yay.
thank you.
Yay.